disrupted.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Hoping a fantastic day so far. I just want to put a formal disclaimer that I've been changing around the lighting setup around here, playing around with different techniques, figuring out how to light this a bit better to make it look more presentable and more broadcast worthy. And bear with us. Let's just say that. Bear with us because I've been trying to move things around and figure out good concepts. So if it looks kind of crappy right now, keep in mind we're in a work of progress right now. But it is a bit better than it was before. Maybe not with this light. But speaking of things that are changing around and looking into better ways to figure this out, let's rehash January 6th for a moment, shall we? Because new details have emerged, ladies and gentlemen, about that horrific Pearl Harbor-like day when people just walked in to the Capitol and took selfies. That horrific day that almost took down democracy, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there's new details emerging. As reported by the New York Post here, they say that House Committee on January 6th deleted more than 100 encrypted files days before the GOP took majority, ladies and gentlemen. The January 6th committee that was supposed to investigate that horrific day had some evidence, had some encrypted files that could prove otherwise, whether it was a horrific day or wasn't, and they just magically disappeared. I'm guessing they must work well with the Clinton campaign. It just seems like it seems a bit of a deja vu right here. That encrypted files just magically disappeared, ladies and gentlemen, right before the GOP took House majority. So here's what the New York Post is saying about this. It says a House subcommittee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot is trying to recover 117 encrypted files that now disbanded House Select January 6 committee deleted before Republicans took the majority last year. A digital forensics team employed by the House Administration Subcommittee on Oversight discovered the data deletion occurred on January 1st of 2023, and we were able to recover the password-protected files. That find was first reported by Fox News. Yes, these reports are accurate. Representative Morgan Griffith sits on the subcommittee, confirmed to the Post. Unfortunately, here's the switcheroo part. Unfortunately, at this time, we cannot determine that was in the deleted files. So they're saying that the reports are accurate. They did obtain encrypted files that were somehow misplaced, but they're not sure if they're the ones that actually got deleted. You see how quick they are to do that switcheroo, that kind of like they can't just admit to it. They have to undermine the value of it. Oh, well, we don't know if it's actually the deleted files. And they'll probably refuse to investigate, and there'll be a cover-up for another 75 years because, you know, the insurrections are very safe and effective. The panel's chairman, Representative Barry Loudermilk, has since written to former House January 6th committee chairman Bernie Thompson requesting passwords to access the data, according to a copy of the letter obtained by Fox News. Thompson claimed that to have overturned 4 terabytes of digital files for the hard drives archived by the Select Committee, with the clerk of House contained less than 3 terabytes of data, Loudermilk wrote. He told Thompson that his subcommittee found numerous digital records from hard drives archived by Select Committee and asked for a list of passwords to access these files and ensure they are properly archived. I'm very confused on why they wanted to archive it rather than report on this information, because if they're so concerned about what happened that day, if they're so concerned about the group of mega supporters, the Trumpers, that stormed into the Capitol and somehow took over democracy, wouldn't you want to release that information to prove to the public that this was a dangerous day, that they were trying to overthrow democracy, that they were trying to overthrow the Capitol? Which if they were trying to do that, they did a shitty job. Let's just say that. We know firsthand through all the amounts of closed circuit cameras that were in the Capitol that they did an absolutely poor job. And they did such a poor job that even Nancy Pelosi's daughter admitted to it. Nancy Pelosi's daughter said, hey, they were trying to insurrect. They did a horrible job. Because here's how I would do it. One recovered file disclosed the identity of an individual whose testimony was not archived by the Select Committee, Loudermilk also wrote, pointing out that Thompson had previously admitted not all records were archived. Others include specific transcribed interviews and dispositions to the White House and Department of Homeland Security that were not archived with the clerk of the House, he added. Loudermilk was written follow-up letters to the White House counsel's office and Department of Homeland Security asking for the unedited and unredacted transcripts of the testimonies. He demanded that both comply with the request by January 24th. Last week, Loudermilk told Fox News Digital his investigation has entered a new phase with support from House Speaker Mike Johnson, who has also committed additional resources to the panel's investigation. Loudermilk explained that after a forensic analysis of the data on archive hard drives, he was able to recover numerous digital records from the hard drives archived by the Select Committee. One recovered file disclosed the identity of an individual whose testimony was not archived by the Select Committee. Loudermilk wrote, Further, we found that the most of the recovered files are password protected, preventing us from determining what they may contain. Loudermilk asked that Thompson provide him a list of passwords for all password-protected files created by the Select Committee so that his committee can access those files and ensure they are properly archived. I feel like this is building up to nothing. Good to the New York Post for at least covering this story, for at least mentioning that there are files, there are transcripts, there is documentation to the lead up of January 6th. This is important stuff that people should be aware of. But now hearing exactly who said what, how this is getting passed, how they're trying to undermine the value of these documents and say that it's just going right to archive, not being reported as what it should be. It just makes me think that this is going to be a nothing burger. This is going to be like, oh my God, we found criminating details, but we can't really show it to you. It's just going to be stored away in some government facility, and to this day, we're still going to refer to January 6th as the Pearl Harbor attack. Because again, let's just remind people, the purpose of January 6th, the reason why this was covered head to toe, was because they had to purposely find a scenario so they can use MAGA supporters and try to criminalize a political movement. And they were able to use an insurrection. They use that term lightly because it wasn't any close to insurrecting anything, not even themselves, to try to find a way to criminalize the MAGA movement and Trump supporters. They had to find a way to silence out this political movement by any means necessary. And that's not just me spewing this out. Here's Nancy Pelosi's own daughter. Nancy Pelosi's own daughter, the documentarian, the director, who's in the White House, who's in the Capitol at the moment that January 6th was being played out. And here she is describing the exact scenes of how this insurrection was going to go, how she planned the insurrection moments before it actually occurred. Take a look at this.
There's two things. Media needs stuff to fill. I mean, if you watch TV on January 6th, it was like January 6th, 24/7. as time goes on,
Right.
it's going to be less.
Yeah.
And so I think also people are going to lose their jobs. The people that were there are going to lose their jobs. So it's not going to mean anything if you weren't even there and you don't even care.
We need like a war to break out.
Yeah, no, it's right. No. Okay, I thank you for your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, I really
So you could hear her talking to, I'm assuming other Capitol officials or maybe some elected officials. I don't know who she's directly speaking to, but she's saying that we need to have this insurrection. We need to have this kind of war to break out in order to get media attention so that the media covers it. So again, to scare and fearmonger half the population from the other half of the population. This is all a tactic. This is all an inside job, an inside tactic to criminalize and silence out a political movement. They had to find some way to diminish the Donald Trump supportive movements, the MAGA people. They had to find something. So what they do, they put in a bunch of federal insiders into this crowd, told them to storm the Capitol, and then make it look like an insurrection without actually insurrecting. And Nancy Pelosi, her daughter, Alexandria Pelosi, seems a little kerfuffled and steamed by it because they didn't do a good job insurrecting. Like, we need a war to break out. We need fistfights. We need people to, be violent and angry and gruesome. Ugh! These are supposed to be Second Amendment gun nuts. And guess what? They forgot the guns. Oh my God. If they were they were really trying to take over the government, the most powerful, corrupted nation in the Western Hemisphere, my God, did they do a shitty job. You forgot the guns. So, that's incredible. That's incredible. And the fact that they're trying to include the documentations, but then trying to undermine those documents by saying that even if we do have the correct files that were deleted, we're just going to immediately archive them. We're not going to release it to the public. The public's not going to be aware of this. This is going to be swept under the rug. They're not going to show anything about this. They're probably going to make a JFK case to hide this for another 75 years so that they could continue to fearmonger people with January 6th. People are still talking about it to this day. People are still talking about it 3 years later. That was a horrific day for America. That, oh my God, a bunch of Americans running into the Capitol and taking selfies with cops is the most undermining thing to democracy. It's the diminish of Western society. How could we do something like this? And those people are the people that have not seen any of the video coverage. They have not seen any of what actually happened inside the Capitol. They keep showing you outside. They keep showing you, the breaking down the barriers and Ray Epps yelling at people to get inside the Capitol. By the way, nobody even knows about Ray Epps because his name's not even mentioned in the news. We know about Ray Epps. Everybody that watches this channel and has followed along, they know about Ray Epps. They know about FBI insiders. But if you're watching regular TV, you have no idea what the hell you were talking about. And they will never, ever show the actual footage, the details, the evidence, the information that shows how manufactured this all was, how much of a manufactured stunt from the people inside the Capitol to Nancy Pelosi to Chuck Schumer to her daughter to FBI insiders to the Capitol Police. It was all a structured front, again, for two reasons: to criminalize and silence out the political movement of Donald Trump and the MAGA people, and also that the media can fearmonger people even more so to hate against each other. That was the only reason why this even took place. And now they're trying to build up the tension of saying we found some documents, but I don't think they're going to release it. The chances are of them actually reporting on this, it looks very slim. because we just saw the article saying that they're just going to archive it. They're going to archive it. They're gonna release the documents to a bunch of federal insiders and then put it into their library. And nobody else is going to know about it. Nobody's going to know about it. Just how they exactly want it. They only want the people on the inside to know what happened. But for us regular people that saw that horrific day, thought it was a horrific day because we're not being told the right information, we're left out in the dark. We're just told to hate one another. We're just told that it's Trumpers' fault. It's your neighbor's fault. It's the MAGA supporters. Anyone with a red hat is a traitor to this country. But good to know that there are some interesting little factoids to this interesting day.